Welcome to the Reprise licensing training. My name is Jeff, and I am a virtual member of the Simulations Plus customer care team. Simulations Plus has recently added Reprise licensing to select products. While many of our products, particularly the Monolix Suite line, have used Reprise for a long time, the PBPK and Cheminformatics products at Simulations Plus have used Flexera. The PBPK and Cheminformatics products are now being migrated from Flexera-based licensing to Reprise-based licensing. Much of Reprise will feel familiar to our current clients because there is a lot of similarity between Flexera and Reprise. We have also recently added cloud-based licensing. Here are the subjects we'll be covering in this brief tutorial. We'll give you an overview of the licensing methods that you can choose from to best meet your needs. We'll look at a list of licensing elements and describe each element briefly. We'll go over how to get your license for each of those methods. We'll then look at how to choose the right licensing method for your needs. Let's get started. Let's look at the various Reprise licensing methods. The first licensing method we'll look at is called the RLM local server. RLM stands for Reprise License Manager. The RLM local server is hosted in your own computing environment. If you've been running a Flexera license server in your own computer environment, this will feel very familiar. The RLM local server solution is useful for managing floating licenses shared by multiple scientists. Our clients who choose the RLM local server solution choose it because they prefer to maintain the license server themselves, perhaps out of that familiarity and maybe because of connectivity or security concerns. This method requires that the customer have some in-house expertise in maintaining the license server, often addressing licensing only once a year at renewal time. The next method we'll talk about is the serverless licensing method. The serverless license is exactly that. It has no server. It is simply a license file that is node-locked to an individual machine. The license is not shared, so there is no need for a server to manage sharing between users. It is ideal for single users. It is very low maintenance, just requiring a new license file at each renewal. And it requires low connectivity. The license file is usually right on the individual scientist's machine. The third method we will discuss is the new cloud-based licensing method called RLM Cloud. The RLM local server we talked about and RLM Cloud are similar in some ways. In the case of RLM local server, the customer maintains the license server. In the case of RLM Cloud, we essentially host the same license for you on a cloud server. Actually, Reprise hosts the license server for us, and we provide it to you. Each of our clients has a dedicated, sandboxed process on RLM Cloud with your own unique port number and password for your process. The result is easy maintenance for both of us. Reprise makes sure your license server has excellent uptime. We simply upload your license to the RLM Cloud server, and you point all of your users' scientific applications at the RLM Cloud server. At renewal time, we simply move the expiration date further out on the RLM Cloud server, and your end users continue to use the science software without even knowing that the license has been updated. Note that the RLM local server and RLM Cloud server-based license solutions do not exchange any chemistry data at all. They only exchange license information. So, whether you choose to host your licenses in-house with RLM local server or on our RLM Cloud, you can rest assured that no chemistry data is contained in the communication. Here is a summary of the elements that make up the various licensing methods. First, there's the server. If your licenses are shared between multiple users, there has to be a server somewhere checking your licenses out to authorized users and counting the number. A license file holds your entitlements to run our applications and optional add-ons to those applications. The license file is locked to an individual user's machine or to a license server. When hosted on the cloud, you will never have to manage the license file itself. Next, the license folder holds the files that the server manages. If you choose the RLM local server, you will manage this folder yourself. If you use our RLM Cloud solution, this is managed for you in the cloud. The host ID may be very familiar to our Flexera users. The Reprise host ID and the Flexera host ID are not compatible. They are different, but they serve the same purpose. The Reprise host ID identifies the computer or server that the license file is locked to. In most cases, with the Reprise licensing methods we're looking at here, you no longer have to handle host IDs. They're still part of the license file, because that's how the file is married to your system. But the host IDs are generated and passed between the various elements behind the scenes, requiring much less manual intervention than previously needed. The activation key is what allows us to eliminate the manual handling of host IDs. An activation key represents a set of entitlements before they've been locked to a particular machine or license server by a license file. So, for methods that use an activation key, we send you your activation key, and then the next time you are at the machine to be licensed, you present that activation key online. Behind the scenes, the host ID and license file will be exchanged and the file installed. It is much easier to use the activation key than to handle host IDs and license files directly. The registry of each end user's Windows computer holds the pointer to your license location, whether that is a server or a serverless license file. The first time your end user runs any of our PBPK or cheminformatics applications with Reprise-based licensing, the user enters the license location and it is saved in the registry. Once one of our apps knows where to find a license, then all of our applications on that machine will know where to find it because they all share the registry. This is a good place to mention that Reprise licensing is available for Linux on both the server side and endpoint side, with some small differences, such as the registry. Apple Macs can only be used to access remote Windows or Linux desktops. The options file allows you to add custom rules for checking out your licenses. For example, several scientists or workgroups may share a server and a set of licenses. But if each group has a different specialty, the options file lets you determine which features are available to each user or workgroup. You may choose to share each license with a subset of scientists based on their specialty, their geography, which budget purchased each license, or other groupings you want to impose on the usage within your organization. The options file is where you specify your rules. For each of the licensing methods, there is a specific way to get your license. In the case of RLM Cloud, we only have to send you the URL of your dedicated license server process. Your end users will enter that URL in a pop-up window the first time they run their science application and begin using the app right away. In the case of serverless licenses, we send you an activation key. When you first run the science app on the end user machine, the user enters the activation key in a pop-up window. The application will contact the activation server, generate and upload the machine's host ID, and download the license directly to the end user's machine. To the end user, this looks very simple, just entering the activation key in a pop-up. For the RLM local server, we also send you an activation key. The RLM local server includes a web portal where you manage your licenses. Simply go to that web portal and enter the activation key. The host ID of your server is uploaded and the license for the server is downloaded and installed in your RLM local server. Then your end users point their science applications to your local server to share the licenses you downloaded. Finally, we provide for disconnected machines, which are not connected to any internal RLM local server, external RLM cloud, or activation server, but are completely disconnected from online services. In that case, you will run our utility to generate your host ID, email us the host ID, and we will email back your license file for you to copy to your disconnected machine. All of this may sound a little complex, but that's only because there are multiple licensing methods represented in this presentation. We will help you choose the best method for your needs, then you will see how straightforward each of these methods is by itself. Here are some key questions for our business development team to discuss with your science and purchasing teams. Which of our applications and additional features do you need to license? Will the licenses be shared? Will the licenses be hallmarked for particular individuals and work groups? Or, most commonly, will all scientists have access to all of your licenses? And where are the users or work groups located? Geographic locations may factor into your license agreement. We can also place your RLM cloud server in the best data center location to serve your users with the lowest overall latency. For the transition period, you will receive a 2-month evaluation license. During this window, both the Reprise and Flexera licenses will be active for you to use. Once we get closer to the expiration date, or sooner if you decide earlier, you will pick which version you would like to continue using. If you decide to keep Reprise, you will decommission the Flexera server. If you are using the cloud license, we will change the expiration date of the 2-month evaluation license to the end of your current contract. You would not have to do anything else. There are no additional costs to do this. If you decide to keep Flexera, then once your Reprise 2-month trial expires, Reprise will stop working and you will continue to use Flexera until your contract expires. Please keep in mind that Flexera will only be supported until the end of 2026, so you would need to make the switch to Reprise at that time. There is a third option of keeping them both for an additional fee up until the end of 2026. In conclusion, licensing is now easier for most of our users. A big part of that is that we're encouraging our clients to choose RLM Cloud. Cloud-based licensing is easiest for your IT team because they don't have to maintain a license server. It makes annual renewals, adding or deleting optional features, increasing or decreasing seat counts, etc. very easy for you and us. RLM local server and serverless solutions are also made easier through the use of activation keys, which allow you to activate any computer or server right at the machine without having to handle host IDs or license files. To discuss the best solution for your needs, email our business development team. For help acquiring, installing, and testing your licenses, email our licensing team or customer care and technical support team, or visit the support area of our website. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions regarding this tutorial, please reach out via these emails.